At this moment, deep within the heavenly abyss mountain range, the sounds of battle and explosions echoed constantly as smoke filled the air. Above the skies, the remaining 7 elders, their bodies overwhelmed by the attack of Soul Wuji, were on the verge of collapse, their powers nearly depleted. Your Highness, we can't go on like this. Sooner or later, Soul Wuji will drain us dry. The voice came from the 7-star Do Xian on top of the 3 dragon corpses, struggling against the sinister ghostly power of Soul Wuji. Silence! Lin Fengya growled, his expression twisting with a strange grimace, his face contorted in fury. Boom! Just as Lin Fengya hesitated, the black coffin beneath his feet suddenly shattered. How is this possible? At that moment, Lin Fengya's heart was sharply pierced by a wave of pain. His father was indeed his father. A true emperor, a strong man worthy of the title, had seen through his scheme. It seemed everything had been under the emperor's control from the beginning. Lin Fengya, you have lost. You lost completely, Soul Wuji said, standing atop the dragon corpse, his tone domineering as he looked down at the world. No, I haven't lost. You are the one who lost. Soul Wuji, since you covet the land and people of my Tianqing continent, then even if I die, I will never let you succeed. With a low growl, Lin Fengya, without hesitation, raised the half-ripened demon fruit in his hand high, like a devout believer offering their last shred of faith. I didn't get to fully experience it in the Devil's Nest, but I'm curious about demons, he muttered, even as his desperate act left Soul Wuji unshaken. With the full power of a perfect 7-star Do Xian, Soul Wuji was confident he could look down on all others. You'll regret this. Then let's see, Soul Wuji replied coldly. After their exchange, Lin Fengya stopped hesitating. He lifted the demon fruit and bit into it, his teeth grinding the fruit with savage intensity. At this moment, dark thunderclouds still churned in the sky, but everything else was eerily silent. It seems Jiama deceived you, but it doesn't matter. It won't be long before I personally send him down to join you, Soul Wuji said, his voice cold and filled with malice. So, Your Highness, it's time for you to set out on your final journey. With a chilling sound, the sinister words came from Soul Wuji's mouth, and in the next instant, his black robe sleeves billowed as an overwhelming, sinister energy surged around him like a tidal wave. The feeling was as if a true king, surrounded by countless vengeful spirits, was gazing down with disdain at Lin Fengya. Is this the end of the world? The 7 elders' faces darkened as they looked at the terrifying power surrounding Soul Wuji. Regardless of what happens, Lin Fengya is still our prince. He cannot fall here. As for the mistakes he has made, let the emperor decide. Attack. Morning light compass. The 7 elders exchanged looks of rare resolve, and in the next instant, a green aura ignited around them, burning like flames. Boom! In the blink of an eye, a massive compass that could span the entire sky enveloped their bodies, radiating an aura so terrifying it made their hearts race. A strong defense, but unfortunately, demonic hound. Soul Wuji snorted coldly, and from the ground, a bottomless black vortex churned as a hellish demonic hound emerged. It let out a roar that shook the heavens, releasing its fury. Roar! The demonic hound swung its limbs, its blood-red maw gaping open as it charged toward the defense, tearing at it with a ferocity unmatched. With a single bite, the once indestructible defensive compass was ripped open, a large, noticeable gap appearing. In Soul Tide. It's over. Soul Wuji sneered as countless sinister screams filled the air, the terrifying power of the In Souls creating a tidal wave that spread across the sky. At that moment, the dark thunderclouds trembled violently, as if they were afraid of something. Countless vengeful spirits howled in agony, filling the entire sky. The sky above heavenly abyss mountain range now resembled hell itself. Boom! The defensive compass was relentlessly torn apart by the demonic hound. With Soul Wuji's full power strike, it was rapidly shattering. Within a few breaths, it would likely be nothing but shattered remnants. In this life-or-death moment, Lin Fengya's pupils contracted sharply. A heart-wrenching pain spread through his chest. Unable to bear it, he floated in the air, clutching his head with both hands. Tears streamed from his eyes as blood oozed from his ears and nose, his form a pitiful, horrifying sight. "Your Highness?" Boom! With a loud crash, as Lin Yunshu's figure drew near Lin Fengya by a few meters, Lin Fengya suddenly raised his head, opened his mouth wide, and instantly devoured him. This beast! The other 7 elders, and the 2 remaining powerful figures standing atop the dragon corpse cursed under their breath. The moment Lin Fengya swallowed, Lin Yunshu's aura abruptly disappeared. Blood, blood. I still want more. At this moment, Lin Fengya's pupils slowly turned ink green, and even his black hair, like twisted vines, began to grow wildly, filled with malevolent energy. Whoosh! With a mouth wide open, a swirling ink-green vortex suddenly appeared. The powerful figures encircled by Soul Wuji's soul tide were immediately swallowed without resistance, their bodies easily consumed by Lin Fengya, who stirred them inside with a crackling sound. Chirp, chirp, chirp. For a moment, Lin Fengya, hovering in the air, resembled a man-eating demon. Soul Wuji's powerful 10,000 souls tide was effortlessly neutralized by Lin Fengya's surrounding ink-green energy and the evil aura of his dark hair. Boom! As Lin Fengya swallowed the remaining 10 men, their bones and blood all stirred violently, his gaze and aura became unfathomable. His body was enveloped in a layer of ink-green mist, exuding a sinister presence. Soul Wuji, this time, I've won. Lin Fengya's voice was cold, and with his last shred of sanity, he uttered those chilling words. Then, he ceased to exist. Before him, Lin Fengya's soul had been extinguished, and with the amplification from the 10 7-star Dosien, he was now on the verge of becoming a true demon. However, Lin Fengya never succeeded in controlling the demon within, becoming instead the demon servant, a stepping stone for the demon's arrival. Is this the human world? At this moment, the ink-green demon's evil eyes scanned the surroundings, filled with the curiosity and innocence of a newborn, as it took in everything. What kind of monster is this? Soul Wuji and the demonic hound below both felt an unprecedented pressure emanating from the demon's seemingly casual words. That pressure was like a mountain weighing hundreds of thousands of pounds upon their hearts, the oppression rivaling even that of a true 8-star Dosien. At that moment, the battle situation changed again. In the sky above, Lin Fengya's twisted, malevolent face contorted, and his aura shifted in response. Damn it! What kind of monster is this? Even Soul Wuji, who usually looked down on everything, felt a wave of terrifying fear rise within him in the presence of the demonic servant Lin Fengya. This was a creature he'd never seen before. At this moment, his cold, sinister Dochi even began to freeze, as if it feared this unknown being. Gurgle. Without caring for the movements of Soul Wuji or the demonic hound, the demonic servant Lin Fengya looked up, his eyes flashing with a sinister glint. His gaze locked onto Soul Wuji as if he intended to devour him completely. The ink-green pupils radiated a domineering malice, and after taking a deep breath, a furious roar came from the thunderclouds above, which had once been controlled by Soul Wuji. They immediately broke free from his control and unleashed countless thunderous pillars that surrounded Lin Fengya, forming a true demon. This lunatic. The demonic hound, surrounded by dark mist attempting to protect itself, moved closer to Soul Wuji along with the dragon corpse. Together, they unleashed a terrifying power. However, upon seeing the horrific form of the demonic servant, the demonic hound could not help but mutter, "This is madness." Crash! The demonic servant let out a cold laugh as he gazed at the 4 dragon corpses and the demonic hound in the sky. Silver lightning surrounding his body was soon wrapped by a layer of ink-green energy. Go! After a brief moment, the demonic servant raised his hand, pointing gently at Soul Wuji, standing in the void. In that instant, it was as if the entire sky had been seized by the demonic servant. The energy in the heavens began to thin, as if a mere mortal had dared to enter the king's domain, and the king was casually punishing them. The silver lightning had been conjured by Soul Wuji, infused with countless ominous souls. That power was terrifying, but with the added demonic energy, it surged towards Soul Wuji with overwhelming might. The ink-green lightning bolts moved slowly, but as they approached, the entire sky, along with the surrounding space, fell into a heavy silence. The heavens seemed to weep, as though such a demonic creature should never exist in the world. Soul Wuji frowned as he observed the situation. As the dark green lightning pillars attacked, the 4 dragon corpses surrounding him seemed to disintegrate rapidly. Clearly, the powerful sealing dose skill had also been on the verge of collapsing ever since the disappearance of the black coffin. At that moment, Soul Wuji looked down at the void beneath his feet, where he saw hundreds of thousands of humans. They were in a panic, staring at the apocalyptic scene above. Countless buildings and palaces were being effortlessly destroyed by the shockwaves of the attacks, and even the entire mountain range was suffused with a strange, oppressive force. Demons. Life-bound soul lock. At this moment, Soul Wuji dared not hold back. He left the rapidly vanishing dragon corpses and lightly stood atop the head of the demonic hound. Black mist erupted from his body, wailing in anguish before quickly writhing like boiling water. Beneath the mist, a cold gleam flashed. "Here's something for you." Seeing Soul Wuji's movement, the demonic servant's speed was shockingly fast. In the blink of an eye, it flashed behind Soul Wuji and, with a smooth and fair hand like that of a newborn, released a jet of dark green liquid. The body tensed before the hand was thrust forward, a palm infused with demonic power roaring towards Soul Wuji. Boom! The lightning pillar and the demonic power struck from both sides, but Soul Wuji was no simple opponent. A cold gleam flickered in his eyes, and from within the black mist, a sharp, pitch-black chain glinted with cold light. The chain was etched with countless intricate patterns. The patterns resembled ancient ritualistic symbols, eerily dark and carrying a sinister aura. This demon may have just been born, but as time goes on, its power will only grow. I can't afford to stay in a stalemate with this guy. I need to gather more soul power. If this plan fails, even I will face severe punishment. Soul Wuji's gaze trembled rapidly. In the next moment, soul chains appeared before him, carving out dozens of chain-like illusions in the air, forming a dark cage that shielded him inside. Interestingly, as Soul Wuji made his move, the power of the demonic force was gradually dissipating. While demonic power was formidable, the demonic servant, still in its infant state, was incapable of killing him. But at the same time, Soul Wuji could not defeat it either. Hiss! I don't have time to play with you. After all, we're in the same line of work. Soul Wuji intercepted the demonic servant's attack, but his black mist weakened significantly. The mist trembled, and hundreds of powerful soul bodies shook free, instantly roaring in all directions. Clearly, Soul Wuji had sensed an extremely terrifying force from the demonic servant. These soul powers were the results of Soul Wuji's painstaking efforts to gather soul bodies. But now, he had no choice but to abandon them, for if he were to be entangled by the demonic servant, his larger plan of collecting souls would be completely ruined. Soul, I want to eat. Upon witnessing this, madness surged in the demonic servant's dark green pupils. It shifted its gaze from Soul Wuji and exploded in size, shooting toward the fleeing soul bodies. Demons were inherently the strongest, most mysterious, and evil forces in the world. However, the demon fruit that Lin Fengya had consumed was only half-ripe, which led to many drawbacks. These drawbacks could only be eliminated by consuming human blood and souls. Thus, seeing Soul Wuji discard so many soul origins, the demonic servant became frenzied. Rustle. At this moment, Soul Wuji, riding on the demonic hound beneath him, surged toward the other side of the heavenly abyss mountain range, where numerous commoners could replenish the souls he had lost. Meanwhile, in the sky, the pitch-black thundercloud slowly transformed into a dark green, malevolent cloud, enveloping the demonic servant. The weak soul bodies, to demons, were like great supplements. The demonic servant consumed them with ease, and as it did, Its demonic aura grew stronger. Slowly, the creature's blood seemed to turn a shade of dark green. At this moment, a true demon was beginning to slowly emerge in the cold, dark void. Elsewhere, the powerful members of the Soul Hall and the Holy Sea were simultaneously attacking. The heavenly abyss mountain range had descended into complete chaos. As for the battle in the Emperor's palace, it was no surprise. The Emperor defeated Shika with overwhelming strength and captured both Shika and Lin Feng. They would await punishment after the battle. Xun'er, this is all a test for you, meant to awaken the power of the stars within you. I hope you won't resent your father. The power of the demon was beyond even the Emperor's imagination. Even the Emperor never expected Lin Fengya to be so insanely ruthless. However, if the power of the stars were fully unleashed, dealing with the demon might not be impossible after all. On the other side, beside the abyss. Damn it, stay still. On a cliff, Xiao, surrounded by dark green energy and a sinister aura, was constantly evading the pursuit of the Soul Hall and the Holy Sea, dragging the menacing Gamma along. You've got some decent power. Why not join us? Perhaps you'll rise to an impressive position in the future, Gamma said with a cold, eerie laugh. Xiao didn't entertain him, sneering as he continued dodging the relentless chase of the Soul Hall and Holy Sea experts. 2 7-star Dosien level, plus quite a few 6-star Dosien. Xiao Yan had been following behind Xiao and Gamma, dealing with unnecessary problems. However, he would never show himself until he was absolutely sure of his safety. Creak. With a harsh sound, a withered branch under Gamma's feet, whether by accident or intent, made an incredibly sharp noise. You bastard! Run! Xiao cursed under his breath, grabbing Gamma and quickly fleeing. They've been found. By the edge of the cliff, someone shouted, and immediately, numerous figures like ghosts darted toward them. Kid, give up resistance. Hand over Gamma, and we'll spare your life. A group of dozens of Soul Hall experts surrounded Xiao and Gamma, their sinister laughter filling the air. Dream on. Wood Realm, Wood Pattern Barrier, Wood Tree Thorn. Green energy surged around Xiao, continuously flashing as huge defensive wooden walls and attacks appeared, resisting the enemies. Childish tricks. Die. The dozens of Soul Hall experts were likely only at the full 6-star Dosien stage, but even so, the pressure they exerted on Xiao was enormous. Boom. Just as the situation seemed critical, an amber-colored flame, like a wildfire, erupted from behind a hidden tree. In an instant, all the Soul Hall experts were engulfed in flames, their bodies burning fiercely as they screamed in agony. Master Xiao Yan? Xiao couldn't help but shout in excitement. Run. Head toward the Emperor's palace. After knocking down dozens of enemies, Xiao Yan's gaze turned cold as he stared into the void, sensing some terrifying being was lurking and watching him. The sacred flame. No wonder it's the one the Hall Master specifically mentioned. But it ends here. Whether it's the sacred flame or Gamma, they are all ours to take, a voice from the shadowy void said. A figure in a black robe stepped out, walking lightly. As he moved, the entire space seemed filled with a palpable unease. Move. Xiao Yan's expression darkened as he sneered, preparing to escape with the others. Move. Do you really think I'm that insignificant? Soul Mengyu, at the peak of the 7-star Dosien, was an unshakable pillar for the three of them at this moment. Master Xiao Yan. Xiao and Gamma, aided by spatial passages, hid themselves, but they couldn't help but roar at Xiao Yan, who was holding the rear. Where do you think you're going? Seeing this, Soul Mengyu's eyes grew cold, and black mist began to swirl around her, seething with an oppressive, suffocating power. Boom! With a roar, her palm shot toward Xiao Yan, distorting and collapsing the space, like the hand of death itself. Basha's mark, defend. Xiao Yan hastily retreated, deploying the water attribute defense from the Basha's mark, creating a protective barrier above him. Thud. A sharp sound rang out as countless black mist hands slammed down, crushing Xiao Yan's form. The sound of his bones cracking echoed painfully, and the immense water barrier was shattered in an instant. Blood spurted from Xiao Yan's mouth as his energy plummeted, leaving him weak and disoriented. Puffed. With that, Xiao Yan vanished into a spatial tunnel, disappearing from the scene. Seems like this guy is the perfect choice for a demon, Gamma thought. Watching Xiao Yan's miserable state, a plan forming in his mind. Master! The other Soul Hall experts whispered, seeing that Xiao Yan and the others had managed to escape Soul Mengyo's grasp. Let Hun Sha increase the power. They're definitely still around this cliff. As for the Holy Sea experts, if we encounter them, just kill them. After all, their souls are pure and ripe for harvesting. With that, silence descended again. V-Room. But at that moment, a demon with dark green energy above the sky was already charging up. Roar. In the depths of the dark green pupils, a sinister light flickered. Hovering above the sky, surrounded by evil clouds, he waved his hand toward the heavenly abyss mountain range. In an instant, the majestic palaces, grand roads, even the flowers and trees within the abyss, were torn apart and shattered as if they were withered flowers and broken willows, vanishing in a flash. Princess, you cannot go. This guy is an irredeemable demon. You. At this moment, on the outskirts of the heavenly abyss mountain range, Lin Yunshu had already used her battle token to summon all the remaining power, along with hidden forces supporting her from all directions. It was enough to wipe out Lin Feng and Lin Fengya's carefully prepared forces. Generals, I leave my brother's remaining forces in your hands. I am of the royal family of the Tianqing continent, and I am a princess. At times like this, I have no choice but to act. Lin Yunshu smiled gracefully, then her body slowly ascended, heading toward the demon. Princess, truly a woman of great wisdom. Move out, in the name of the princess. Capture the rebellious forces of Lin Feng and Lin Fengya, and those who resist, show no mercy. In an instant, a massive army surged toward the other two factions. This, such a beautiful person. In the sky above, the demon casually attacked, destroying most of the flourishing heavenly abyss mountain range. However, his gaze flickered toward Lin Yunshu, whose body glowed with the radiance of stars, and he sensed a truly surprising aura. Her princess gown highlighted her graceful and slender figure. The power of the stars around her was as vast and unfathomable as a sea of stars. Her exquisite face and 3,000 strands of hair cascaded like a waterfall. Even the demon was momentarily stunned. I am the new emperor of Tianqing continent, Lin Yunshu, the empress. Lin Yunshu stood in the sky, her beautiful eyes fixed on the demon. Her voice, light and ethereal, like a musical piece, resonated in the ears of all the people in the heavenly abyss mountain range. Her aura was elegant yet powerful, like an emperor who, though usually calm, became essential in crucial moments. Such a stunningly beautiful woman still exists in this world? Why not become my companion? In your human terms, become my wife, so that my demonic bloodline can continue. The demon servant, having consumed all of Lin Fengya's memories and knowledge over time, looked at Lin Yunshu's noble form and slowly smiled. He wasn't in a hurry, because with the power of the demon, he had already reached the critical point of the Tianqing continent's strength, half-step 8-star Docian, or even stronger. With his mysterious and unpredictable demonic attributes, he was absolutely confident, even if an emperor made a move. You don't deserve it. Lin Yunshu furrowed her brow upon hearing this. She smiled gently, and her voice, as if a Buddhist chant, spread out, noble and lazy in tone. Seeking death. Seeing Lin Yunshu's blatant disregard, the demon sneered coldly, his body enveloped in dark green blood mist. An intense sense of oppression spread across the entire sky. Is that Princess Yunshu? There are rumors that Princess Yunshu has the power of the stars. She will surely lead us to victory. Pray for the princess. Pray. On the countless mountain ranges and among the common people of the heavenly abyss mountain range, many closed their eyes and silently prayed for the princess. Let's go. If you lose, even that old man in the palace, along with the entire continent, will be obliterated by my hand. The demon servant seemed to be eagerly awaiting Lin Yunshu's move. Having just transformed into a demon, he wanted to test his full strength. Furthermore, Lin Yunshu seemed to possess some mysterious power that even he, as a demon, felt uneasy about. Then, as you wish. Starfall. Lin Yunshu didn't hesitate. She knew that the entire continent's hopes rested on her now. With a simple wave, a brilliant, unfathomable waterfall of stars appeared, carrying an unparalleled force as it shot toward the demon. Woo! Woo! Demon hand! The demon sneered, raising his arm toward Lin Yunshu. Instantly, countless dark green auras erupted, forming a monstrous demon hand tens of thousands of feet tall in front of him. The aura emanating from the hand felt like the true presence of a demon, oppressive enough to shake one's very soul. Boom! When the starfall collided with the demon hand, an explosive energy ripple spread out like a sonic wave across the sky. Zzz. After a moment, the power of the starfall suddenly began to crumble, and the demon hand surged forward, roaring toward Lin Yunshu. The energy contained in it seemed as though it could obliterate the princess in an instant. Princess! Your Highness! Crack! Just as the demon's hand was about to strike Lin Yunshu, she smiled, a warm aura radiating from her expression. Huh! As expected, the demon's hand violently tore through Lin Yunshu's body. However, no harm was done. Instead, it pierced right through her, revealing a prominent hole in her chest. Yet, no blood spilled from the hole. Instead, a brilliant starry light began to shine from within, like stars that had slept for millions of years, now slowly flickering into radiance. A beam of holy light suddenly spread from the hole in her chest. The sinister clouds in the sky above immediately disintegrated. The starry sky became grim, and no one knew whether it was day or night. But at that very moment, countless stars above began to shine with their most dazzling brilliance, surrounding and repairing Lin Yunshu's chest. At that instant, Lin Yunshu's aura was regal and awe-inspiring, resembling a true empress. Surrounded by stars, all the stars bowed in submission, as if the life and death of all beings were at her command. What is this power? The demon's hand was easily dispelled, and due to the starry power, the flow of demonic energy slowed. A strange force began to coil around the demon's mind, as he stared blankly at the princess slowly ascending into the sky, her body almost merging with the countless stars. In a dazed voice, he muttered, "What is this power?" At that moment, countless figures below began to cheer, watching the princess among the stars, as the hope of victory drew ever closer. The power of the stars. It really worked. In the imperial palace, the emperor stood up in excitement from his dragon throne. The radiance of the stars, grant me the holy power to erase evil, to rid the world of darkness. It seemed like a chant, or perhaps a prayer. Lin Yunshu slowly moved her hands in front of her chest. Numerous stars suddenly fell from the sky, surrounding her. After a moment, they merged into her skin and into her forehead. Soon, a starry glow slowly appeared on her fair forehead. This glow contained boundless vitality and boundless destruction, yet in this moment, it was unusually calm. Light of the stars, star seal. Suppress it. In the blink of an eye, Lin Yunshu's hands shimmered with intense life force, empowered by what attribute energy. She gently tore at her forehead, causing a silver rune marked with countless stars to fall away. At this moment, countless onlookers, even the strong members of the Soul Hall and the Holy See, stopped their movements, quietly watching Princess Lin Yunshu, who seemed like a divine being in the sky. Even the starry seal in Lin Yunshu's hand, though faint, contained enough power to annihilate all living things. Brother, it's over. Lin Yunshu tore the star seal from her forehead. Her breath weakened sharply, but she still walked gracefully toward the demon, her terrifying offensive unstoppable. No, it's not over yet. Demon Realm, blood devouring heaven and earth. Seeing Lin Yunshu use her trump card, the demon's expression twisted with fury. Dark green blood began to pour from his mouth, scattering towards the countless commoners below. The dark green blood turned into a sinister rain, and when it touched any human, it caused bone-chilling screams, as their bodies were completely corroded. A portion of their soul and essence was drawn back into the demon's body. Let's see how you handle this. As the slaughter of the commoners continued, a massive demonic gear covered in eerie runes, stretching 10,000 feet, began to slowly form in front of the demon. It's over. Lin Yunshu, already at her limit, looked at the suffering commoners below. With a slight wave of her hand, the star seal was cast. As soon as the star seal was thrown, it seemed to have a life of its own. Countless chilling auras spread, warping the space it passed through. A force capable of annihilating all things surged forth. Go! At the same time, the demon also unleashed his massive 10,000-foot gear, releasing a terrifying evil aura mixed with a shrill sound that echoed throughout the world. In that moment, the heavens and earth trembled. The true loss of color in the world had arrived. Boom! The deafening explosion sounded like the most violent clash between two divine palaces, tearing the sky apart, sending energy ripples uncontrollably into the world. After a brief pause, the invincible mysterious star symbol and the demonic power intertwined, collapsing in on themselves. For a moment, the two forces seemed evenly matched, slowly solidifying and transforming into a massive ice stone, tens of thousands of feet in size. Within the ice stone, the powers of the star symbol and the demon struggled to maintain balance. After another moment, noticeable cracks appeared, and the ice shattered into fragments, falling vertically from the sky towards the endless abyss below. Some of the remaining ice chunks even fell into the residential areas, resembling meteorites crashing down. A deep pit, dozens of yards wide, appeared where they landed, its power not only containing the presence of some extremely evil demons, but also the mysterious and unpredictable force of the stars. This is, on the distant cliff, hiding behind trees to evade the pursuit of Hun Sha and the others, Xiao Yan looked up at the terrifying scene in the sky. His heart suddenly clenched, and he gasped in shock. Earlier, he had faced the late-stage 7-star Douxian Hun Mingyu, along with Jiama and Jixian. Had he not retreated in time, everyone would likely have fallen into a dire situation. What Xiao Yan hadn't expected was that Lin Fengya had obtained a semi-mature demon fruit, resulting in such a mutation after consuming it. As for Princess Lin Yunshu, she had forcefully awakened the power of the stars within her body to fight this powerful adversary. Xiao Yan could clearly sense that after unleashing this attack, the princess's aura immediately weakened. However, it was evident that this attack alone would not be enough to destroy the demon. I'm going to save her. After a moment, Ji Xian's eyes turned cold as he stared at the demon in the sky, desperately searching for the princess's silhouette. His fist clenched tightly, and his voice turned emotionless, with a chilling killing intent emanating uncontrollably. Lin Yunshu had already secretly pledged herself to him. Now, as a woman, she sacrificed herself for the safety of the entire continent to confront the demon. How could he, as her husband, sit idly by? Calm down. Xiao Yan looked at Ji Xian's bloodshot eyes and immediately used his dou qi to restrain him in place. Jiama, is there any way to neutralize the demon's power? Xiao Yan turned to Jiama, whose soul power was being relentlessly tortured, and asked sternly. No. Once the demonic power begins, it can't be stopped. You will all die. Despite Jiama's pained expression, his dark green, evil hair concealed his face, but beneath it, there was a fiery, fanatical gleam in his eyes. Wait a little longer. Once the angels from the Holy See arrive, or when the demon servants come to wipe him out, he could proudly offer himself to the demon. He would forever be the demon's servant, bringing the most magnificent scholar of the demon world into this realm. Lin Fengya had been meticulously searching for 2 demon fruits. He had tricked him with illusions, and the last mature demon fruit was likely hidden by Jiama alone. At this moment, Jiama had clearly found his final destination, simply waiting for the right moment. You flies move quickly. Just as everyone was distracted by the attack in the sky, the air in front of them trembled lightly, and a dark figure emerged once more. Hun Mingyu, "You persistent ghost," Xiao Yan coldly said, but his body tensed up, and his gaze scanned the surroundings, noticing a cliff not far away. Below the cliff lay the vast and endless abyss that divided the heavenly abyss mountain range. No one knew what awaited those who fell, whether it was life or death. At this point, however, it seemed the only option. A soul hall expert, yet you have the leisure to participate in this? Truly surprising. Just as Han Mingyu attempted to capture Xiao Yan and the others, a blazing white light appeared around him, easily dispersing the black mist chains surrounding him. Xun'er? Han Mingyu looked up, seeing the elegant figure in white before her, and couldn't help but exclaim in surprise. Xun'er was one of Mei Kar's most outstanding guards. Even with his late-stage 7-star Docian power, he might not be able to defeat her. Hand over the demon fruit. And you, boy, separate the sacred flame within you. I will spare your life. A pure white light shimmered from Xun'er's body, its divine radiance faintly glowing, surrounding everyone and preventing any movement. What should we do now? Seeing the battle reigniting in the sky, Ji Xin anxiously asked, "Take Jiama and follow me. Trust me." At this moment, Xiao Yan had no other choice. Threads of sacred flame wrapped around the two, preparing for action at any moment. "Xun'er, Soul Hall has no enmity with you. Let's just part ways and go our separate ways, shall we?" Han Mingyu's black mist stirred, and a chilling aura spread, resisting the divine light surrounding Xun'er. After all, the Soul Hall experts controlled souls and ghostly powers, which were as deadly to them as the Holy Sea's light powers were to the demons. These three, will take them. If you have a problem, feel free to make a move, Soul said. His brows furrowed slightly, and an unquestionable authority emanated from him. "You're forcing me into this. 10,000 souls burial." Han Mingyu, ruthless as always, suddenly raised his hand. Countless eerie souls were unleashed again, only to be instantly consumed by the void. In an instant, Han Mingyu's power surged to the perfect 7-star Docian, and a chilling scream, as if conjured by a gust of dark wind, appeared on his arm, amplifying the eerie nature of his strength. "Although there's no enmity between your Soul Hall and our Holy See, these filthy methods of yours are disgraceful in the great thousand worlds. So, radiance of the world." Soul was no weakling either. A fiery light surrounded him, spreading out like the dawn, clashing fiercely against Han Mingyu's attack. "Move! Down to the abyss!" Seizing the moment of their intense battle, Xiao Yan activated the flame mantra and dragon god transformation, unleashing all his power. His speed soared, and with the two in tow, they shot off like a shooting star, breaking free from Soul's radiant light and heading straight for the bottomless abyss. Not good. At the sudden turn of events, both Soul and Han Mingyu shouted simultaneously and rushed toward the edge of the cliff. But it was too late. Xiao Yan and the others were already moving at lightning speed, plunging into the abyss with the force of a thunderbolt. Beneath the abyss, the cold, dark atmosphere felt like the gateway to hell, mysterious and solemn. Above in the sky, the battle was also slowly tilting in one direction. This time, the catastrophe of the Tianqing continent had escalated. The conflict between the demon, the Holy See, Soul Hall, and the royal family had reached its peak.